learn about it. So I do appreciate you allow me to share my story about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you reaching out. We were kind of sharing off mic just some similar things that we work with, some with kids, and we have the ability to work with some kids with disabilities. But talk about a little bit about this history of Punk for Kids and kind of what you're doing with it all.
Sure. So our son is autistic. So he's 6.5 right now. And I guess like 3 summers ago, he started like going to school year round. And as a teacher, right, it was on me to pretty much drive him to and from school. And I learned pretty fast that whatever the first song he heard for this drive to school was the only song you listened to the entire drive. And his school was like 25 minutes away. So yeah, like most kid songs aren't great. They're pretty cookie cutter, bubblegum boring. And
Mhm.
I'm not saying there's bad kid content, but like how many times can you hear Baby Shark or like Batty Bat by the Count on this drive? So during the course of that summer, I kept going back to the idea of like, why isn't there kid songs? And frankly, the style of music that I grew up listening to that I want to hear, which was, very punk and ska heavy. So the idea would like kind of circle, I guess, and resurface every little bit during the next like 8, 9 months. And then I guess it was that spring, the following spring, right?
Mhm.
We were transitioning him into public school, and my wife went for the visit with him. And she came home. She's like, "Look, you got to hear this song." And it was, "Do you know who Danny Go is?" I don't know if you have
Oh
kids or
yeah.
not.
Oh yeah.
So it was his Gorilla Smash song, and it was like, "Oh man!" I'm like, "All right,
Mhm.
this is like kind of aggressive for a kid's song." I was like, "All right, maybe kids then would listen to something, not so cookie cutter." So I don't know. Over the next maybe like a couple weeks, I kind of started playing around with Five Little Monkeys just because he was listening to a version of that. And honestly, I kind of worked on that. I messed around with Wheels on the Bus, which I recorded those two, and Old McDonald. And when I started trying to figure them out, see if I could make it work, I realized that musically they were super similar, right? Like kid songs are very simple chord progressions, simple melody. And like that's kind of what pop punk and ska is, even punk. Like I'm not
Mhm.
saying they're not talented musicians, they most certainly are, but it's not like math rock where it's like super crazy time signatures. So it's like this kind of works musically. So one night I demoed Five Little Monkeys. I had like 2 hours. I did everything in one take. And when my wife came home from work, I played it for her and she kind of laughed. She's like, "I don't know, this is not so bad." So I kind of passed around some friends of mine that I was in bands with that, have also like listened to style music, was like, "Look, I got this idea here. What do you think?" I demoed a song and they're like, "It's not bad. Like, why don't you try doing more songs?" So I did 3 songs, my first release, which was Five Little Monkeys, Down by the Bay, and Wheels on the Bus. So I released that like 2 summers ago now.
Nice.
Then that October, I did a Halloween EP. I did a cover of "Have You Seen the Ghost of John," which is like the darkest kid song like ever recorded or written.
Mhm.
And then I did an original. My first I wrote. So I originally wrote it as "Happy Skalloween," thinking everybody would know what that means. And my wife was like, "No one's gonna get that joke at all. Like no one's," and like, no. Like everybody, come on, everybody. She's like, "You do what you want, but I'm telling you, no one's gonna understand that." So like I recorded it, I released it, and then like 3, 4 days after the release, she's like, "How's that like going with like the Halloween?" I was like, "Yeah, it's good." She's like, "People understanding it?" I was like, "Nope. They have no idea." She's like, "I don't know. I would try to re-record, like switch out Halloween for Halloween." So I redid it and like got it out in Halloween. Then like a year ago last, kind of went in a pause. So it was kind of this time. So our son was pretty much nonverbal up to this point.
Okay.
And we were kind of realizing at this point that music was unlocking language. Like he was watching a lot of Miss Rachel, like Miss Rachel or not as a person, like what she does for kids content is phenomenal.
It's
Like
great. Yeah.
she's helped so many people and kids read, and she's super good at what she does. So he's watching a lot of Miss Rachel. He's watching this another YouTuber called Brie Reads. Her stick is she kind of reads the Eric Carle books, but she sings them. She writes like songs based on those books.
Okay.
So we really were noticing music was unlocking language. So I did Jingle Bells, and then after I did that, and then we're in this winter, my wife was like, "Look, I don't know if we really need more versions of these songs. Why don't you do original stuff?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like, how am I going to write kid songs? Like, I'm not really a kid person," which is ironic, I guess, now. But she's like, "I know you can write songs." Like, I wrote a song for a wedding. I've been writing songs since I've been like 14. So it's like, all right. So we came up with the idea of like, let's write songs specifically geared for him. Like, let's find things he's just interested in and things that he may be, want to song think about or write. So I just started a list, and if he came up to me and said something, he was getting more verbal. Like one day he just said robot cat randomly. He's never said that before. So it's like, all right, well, that we can turn that into a song. Because I was finding like a lot of kid songs mean nothing. Like he was listening to this song called Hamster Banana, which is just
Yeah.
like they just say hamster banana like a million times. It's like, all right, so
Right.
you don't have to be you don't need to be profound here with kid songs.
Right.
So I did that. I did Frankie mac and cheese, which is based off videos my sister-in-law would send us of her dog Frankie eating mac and cheese. And she
Nice.
would do like a weird voice, like, I'm Frankie, I'm eating my mac and cheese. So I did that song, and I did Penguin Party, which is kind of based off another kind of thing that he was liking. So I released that last summer. Then I did another Halloween song, and then I did Yippee Yippee, I Found Zippy for Christmas.
Nice.
And again, the point it started just to kind of write stuff that maybe would unlock language for him, and it's worked. Like he spells out the songs here and there, which is pretty cool. But that's
Yeah.
kind of how it got started. What the thought process was behind it.
So is it mostly so it's creating music and putting it out? Do you make like music videos and stuff like that with it too?
Yeah, I'd say originally I actually just use like Canva stuff, and like I teach
Yeah.
video production. So like I can't animate. So I just did really terrible videos up front. And then I kind of got away from the video stuff. I really just, all I want to do is write the music, to be honest with you. Like
Mhm.
producing the music, writing the songs is by far my favorite part of this project. But after the first of this year, the big push has been obviously social media. So I'd say for the new releases, we're going to kind of have some more videos. I have a few people on board helping me out.
Sure.
So for like one of the new songs, we're going to do like a full lyric video. We like kind of tested that idea a couple weeks back with Robot Cat. And then another guy that works my other original I'm working on, he has a pretty cool video idea for that. So we'll see. You definitely need video content. It's hard to do it all. Like I can't do
Yeah.
every thing for it. I mean, you do a lot of stuff too, so you kind of get picking your
Yeah.
battles, so to speak.
Even like making the little clips that I put on Instagram. I try to sift through. I try to find 3 or 4 of them, but then like I have to like reformat it all and like I use CapCut because it's free. I have some like Final Cut Pro experience, but I don't have that on my computer currently, and it's like really expensive. But yeah, just that time alone, all that time in general it takes a lot for sure. And it's
Yeah, for sure. Like be like putting out like I have a girl that's helping with some social media. She came up like last August, and like beginning this year, she's like, "Look, you got to post every day." I was like,
yeah,
what? Like I have like a full-time job. Like how do I do this? So like I had to bring other people in, and I think that's the most challenging part is like the social media, because you need to do it right. Like I don't know what your music background is, but like I've been playing band since I'm 14.
mhm,
So like it was always like do a press kit. You go to studio, record 4 songs, right? Like you do a press, you send it out to clubs, you get booked for gigs, and you'd hope a label would come see you. Like that's not how it works at all anymore. Like you need
right,
this social media presence, because I think frankly labels don't want to do that work, right? Like
right,
they save money too, right? If you don't have to pay for that promotion, and you sign a band that already has a built-in following, it's a business for sure. You save money there. But for a new artist, and I don't get it. Like I don't know, I'm like in my 40s now. I don't understand it. Like I'll see a video that has like 50,000 views, and it's like a girl pointing with text, and like I
right,
post it's like 200 views. I'm like,
right.
what am I doing wrong here, right? So
Yeah, I'm with you. And I've only been really doing this podcast consistently since the beginning of the year. I have podcast experience. I have another podcast too. But it's yeah, just trying to, I try to post 4 days in a row if I can every week. And that's like, I kind of get the similar results as you do. I'm like, I feel like I'm doing the right things, but how the hell do I get this reach or whatever? And obviously, like when I talk to people like you, or I talk to people from bands and they, accept the collaboration on Instagram or whatever, like that helps quite a bit. But, I don't always,
absolutely.
I don't have, I'm lucky enough to be able to have talked to the people I've talked to so far. But that's not like always readily available to get it. And it's, and kind of like with music too, everybody has a podcast. A lot of people have bands. What you're doing is pretty unique, but there's other kids channels, like you said, Miss Rachel, Danny Go. Those are kind of the big hitters. But um, in a sense, it's all creative and it's all great, but it's also competitive to a degree.
No,
Um,
no doubt, no doubt.
yeah, it's interesting. You just got to do it for the love, which you're definitely doing. Um, and I
Yeah,
think
like
that's
I'd
awesome.
say like honestly, like this started like I did Five Little Monkeys in like 2 hours, right? And like, I mean, I think the goal was to put it online, but this just being able to go on the podcast with you and talk about it has far surpassed anything that I ever thought it would do. Like, if nothing else ever comes about this, like this is a major success for
Yeah.
sure. Like I've connected with people that I never would have connected with. Like the guitar player from Pie Tasters like shared a post of mine like a
Oh,
week back.
nice.
Like that was like I ran out of that out of my bedroom like so excited and told my wife,
Yeah.
was like, that's just like it's crazy. Like this is a band that I admired, I've listened to since I was, in high school. So for them to
Mhm.
share that content, and I mean, it takes nothing for them to do that. But I mean, like something like that goes a long way. It
Oh,
was
for
like a
sure.
pretty like that was and just connecting with you. Like I've just been messaging people and like I mean, I'm sure you get it. You get a lot of no's, you get a lot of tons of
Oh, yeah,
non-responses.
for sure.
But when you get a chance to talk about it or get that connection, it's pretty cool for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you so with the music, you said you're working on some new tunes and getting some stuff out. Are you um is it are you planning on maybe like do you do shows or anything for like kids
Yeah.
or kind of like working together with them as well that way?
Yep. Yeah. So that was never the original concept or idea. But I live in a pretty small town, and I'm part of like I'm really connected to our community. Like I don't need to go into all that, but
Mhm.
I do a lot with our town. So they had an event called Rock the Park, and they did it one year with not a band the first year. So last year was the second year. So I do a lot with Parks and Rec. So I was like, hey man, can I play? Like, if I put this band together behind me, can I play? Like, yeah, no doubt. Like, no one else wants to play, you're in. So I put together with a couple guys. I played it with other bands. So we did a show with pretty much everything I had released, minus like the holiday stuff,
Mhm.
last August. And we did like giveaways, like for a penguin party. I had an inflatable penguin that came up and danced. We taught kids to dance. I gave away like blow up guitars. We gave out thunder sticks for dumb other day. We passed out like watermelon and stuff. So I tried to kind of do this interactive show. So I did that, and then for Halloween we get like 400 or 500 kids that come through our neighborhood.
Mhm.
So we played in front of my lawn for Halloween. So that was pretty
Nice.
cool. I just cycled my Halloween. That was the best. That was the most fun I had playing ever. Um, but then I just booked out. I have 2 shows coming up, just acoustic shows. So I'm playing next Saturday for an autism awareness event in the town that I teach
Nice.
in. And then there's another like special needs group in our town that does like teen night kind of stuff, but it's for like young adults. So like they did like line dancing one night. So they have their talent show coming up the end of May. So they're gonna let me play a couple songs of that.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's awesome.
But yeah, it's hard. Like I don't have time to book shows or play shows. Like I
Right.
kind of started trying the acoustic thing just to see if that would work. Just because I don't have to like rehearse with a lot of other people. I can just kind of like before we hopped on today, I like restrung my guitar. I was playing around with that stuff a little bit, so it's less to coordinate, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, like stuff like that. I don't, I probably wouldn't tour. I would like to play some shows, obviously, like like maybe summer festivals. But I could, with our son and where I am in life, I don't
Yeah.
couldn't go on the road for like all year. That'd be crazy.
Of course. Yeah, definitely. And really it just working with kids with disabilities, I have experience with that as we were talking a little bit before, but recently I walked in, a good friend of mine works with kids who have like severe cognitive disabilities, and I I go in there almost every day and just say, "Hey, hang out during my lunch break with certain kids." And I remember I threw on a Mighty Mighty Boss Tone song, and me and this one kid who pretty nonverbal, and it can be a challenge at times, but he got up and he just started dancing with me, and we had like so much fun in that that 4 minutes, and it just shows like the importance of music and like the power of music and how it can unleash um different social aspects of it. It doesn't have to be a conversation necessarily to kind of feel the moment and feel good vibes and unleash something that maybe hasn't been discovered before. It's pretty impressive. It's just amazing too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we noticed with our son. Like, he really started to talk because of music. Not like necessarily punk stuff, but like other kids'
Right.
songs. And I think that especially with like kids that are autistic, I think they hear things and perceive things differently.
For sure.
So I think the way they hear, and not that they hear totally different, I just think I truly think they pick up on like all the nuances of these recordings. Like when my son listens to stuff, like he puts his phone up so close to his ear, or
Yeah.
when you like, like when you do talk to me, he wants you like right up at his ear. So I think there's all that. And I don't know, like ska, I think specifically, like if you hear a ska song and you don't get out of your chair and move, like I think
Right.
there's something wrong with you. Like it's this infectious energy, like up to us getting married, my wife really wasn't into ska. Like, she knew really Fish Less than Jake, but I dragged her to like some pretty like local, like I dragged her to Brooklyn, New York to see like Mephistopheles and Inspector Seven. And like,
Oh, nice.
she like, never heard of these bands, but like, she pretty much said like, you can't not move. Like there's just something
Right.
about that style of music live, especially live, that it's like you said, it just makes you want to get up. And I like your thought of like, you can connect with somebody not having to talk through music. Cause I think that's true. Like you had a moment with that kid and
Mhm.
probably nothing was said, right? But like that
Right.
connection there and that bond you made with that kid over that song will last for, for a long time. He'll always remember that, guaranteed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. You should with the music you make, you can make a nice kid song that's like in the tune of ska and talk about picking it up, pick it up, pick it up,
It's
pick it up.
funny you say that. So I teach and like kids are always giving me ideas. So that one person said, "Hey, what about a song about like not picking your nose?" It's like that could work because like pick it up all the time. Like I think I can make that one work. She said that. I was like, that's a pretty, not knowing it all about ska and like pick it up at all.
Yeah,
Like, but that could work. Um, yeah, for sure, no doubt.
that'd be a lot of fun. What do you so when you're like writing these original songs and you talked about your sister's dog and everything like that, but where do you kind of draw the inspiration? Do you just see something happen and you're like, I could turn that into a song, or like a suggestion from student a lot, or is it just
It
kind of
kind of
pops in your head?
So we have like a list. So I have like just a document on my phone.
Okay.
And either sometimes if, our son says something or we come up, it's really just me and my wife coming up with kind of most of the ideas. But if something sticks out to us, like, he was really big in the stop signs and street signs. So one of the new songs is just about that. So like, I'll write that idea down. And then when I go to write, I'll kind of pull from that. The other new song that's coming out, actually my student gave me lyrics to, which was probably the first song. And I couldn't tell you how long that I had the lyrics before the music. So that was like a
Nice.
fun kind of chat. I always do like melody first and lyrics, but
Yeah.
it's just really this ongoing list. And then, we'll pull for some stuff, or, if I hear something, I'm like, oh, maybe I can make something like that work with this song. Um, like for like Yippee Yippee, I found Zippy, like that came like my wife 2 Christmases ago, like sent me her singing like Yippee Yippee, I found Zippy. She goes, I wrote a song for you. It's like, it's not a song. Like this, what do you want? Let me just press the keys on my keyboard and create this song off of that. So it'll be like things like that. And but again, I think the overall goal is to kind of make things that he's interested in so he
For
connects
sure.
with it. Like
Yeah.
that's the most important part. That give stuff that he wants to listen to. And then we'll like sing along. Like I'm rehearsing for the show next Saturday. I've played Five Little Monkeys like 100 times. He's like
Yeah.
obsessed with it again, and like, but like he sings along now to it, which is kind of cool. So that's fun stuff. So yeah, again, just like an ongoing list of things I'll pull from as I kind of write.
Yeah. That's amazing. And you write for your son, but odds are you're writing for a million kids out there that have similar interests and similar things too, which is another great way to build that connection. You make the music that's personal to you and that has meaning to you, and it's going to resonate with so many other people. I talked about that with across a couple of these episodes and with people I know. It's just like how like I think of like my episode on morbid stuff by Pup, and it was just like in that moment that it came out, I felt like it was written for me, and it was personal to them, but it's resonating with other people, and I think you'll find that happens a lot with your music too.
That'd be awesome. It was never intended to be that way, but I think, I was thinking, kind of prepping some thoughts for today. It's funny you say that about connecting with music. Like, so most of my population listens like to hip hop and rap. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I said to him, like, how do you connect with those lyrics? Like, it's so like I live in a very, I teach, I don't live, but I teach in a very upper middle class area. Like they're, they pay like $30,000 in property taxes. They're all good kids, but like they are so far disconnected from the content of those songs,
Right.
which I never could practice. Because when I grew up listening to like Real Big Fish and Less Than Jake and all those bands, like it was all teenage angst. Like
Right.
they sing about like teenage angst, and I could connect with them, which I think is obviously important. They weren't writing, like you said, weren't writing it necessarily for me, but like there was Real Big Fish songs and Let's Shake songs, like breaking up with your girlfriend. Like it was relatable stuff.
Hmm.
So if I could write stuff that's relatable, I mean, I get Frankie Mac and Cheese. The hook is I love mac and cheese. I guess every kid kind of likes mac and cheese for
I
sure.
love mac and cheese.
I mean, I do too. So yeah, so that's cool that I never really thought of it kind of seeing a bigger audience, sometimes yes, but it's really just for him. So it's cool that you see that it could hit more than just my kid.
Yeah, and I definitely think it, will over time, and especially once you keep doing it. Hopefully, that audience just naturally grows, and you get kind of more awareness, and then next thing you know, you're teaming up with Miss Rachel. I think Miss Rachel's pretty punk in general.
I want to do. I wanted so like I had like my heart stopped. So Blippy just did collab with Yellow Card. I don't know if you heard
Oh yeah,
this
I
song.
did see that. Yeah, I heard
I
that.
mean,
I
it's
didn't.
all right. Like I was like, oh man, like I got like nervous. Like, oh my god, there's my idea. Like here we go. Like someone's gonna like nick my idea. But I mean, you can't stop someone from doing what I'm doing, right? Like
Right.
you can write punk for kids. I would love to collab with Danny Go. I think that'd be super fun. Like I think, and he also has a kid with special needs. Like I think that'd be fun.
Oh,
Like
okay. I didn't know that.
I like, yeah, it's actually pretty sad. Like his kid's, I think his kid has cancer too. Like
Oh
they
no.
just booked their first tour. They had to cancel the whole tour and stuff. Like he's kind of
Oh,
like, yeah, if you look into his story, it's pretty, you would have no idea, but he's in the thick of it for sure every day, but yet still can get up there. Right. And you would never know in his videos how he
right.
perceives himself. But yeah, he'd be good. And the pipe dream is to have John Feldman produce a song one day. That
Oh
would
hell
be,
yeah. Of course.
I mean, he's he's polarizing, I guess, in terms of his production, but like, I don't know, I say he's the Phil Spector of pop punk. Like there's a
He's
unique sound to what he's doing. And I think he's a genius. He's a genius.
he's made some pretty legendary albums across the board, and yeah, I would say like his recent productions maybe are a little more polished than what some people are used to in that world. Maybe a little auto tune here and there, but I still think he does a good job. And I like,
Yeah, like it's so crisp and punchy. Like his stuff just has everything just pops
yeah,
so nice. And like, yeah, of course it's definitely overproduced, but what isn't overproduced, right?
right,
Like that's like I think to me that argument doesn't really hold up. You can every pop artist, you know, I saw some of the Ariana Grande and like they showed her vocal track and it was like 100 tracks that made up her vocal track. So like
right,
everybody does it.
yeah, layering and all that kind of stuff. And I love Goldfinger. They're playing in Milwaukee this summer, which I'm pretty close to Milwaukee, so I'm going to go check them out and see them for the first time. I've never gotten the chance to see them, so here we go. I'm pretty pumped about
That's
that.
I saw them back in the day, like when Stomping Ground came out, like a small club I asked. They were all, like I can remember they were like the first band I ever saw that would jump in time with their guitars and like put their knees back. And it was like, oh my God, like these guys are like they were so light years ahead of anything else I had seen at the time, but they're so tight. Like any video you see of them, they're pretty on point.
Oh yeah, for sure, and I think that's great. Yeah, but yeah, working with John Feldman would be
Yeah, I mean that's
amazing.
I mean the chances are like what 1 in like 50 million, but
You know?
yeah, it'd be cool to do a collab at some point with a kids artist too, for sure.
Yeah, I think what you're doing is important. I think it's impactful and great. And I'm glad you reached out and I looked into it. After you sent me that message, I was like checking this out. Oh, this is sweet. Like we have some similarities in some regards and connection to it. And I just think it's pretty amazing. So you have how
Thanks.
can where can people access your music? Is it on like Spotify and all that stuff?
Yeah, so everything's on Spotify, Apple Music, and I guess Amazon. Like I use this thing called TuneCore, so it pops out to everywhere. And then just like social media, TikTok and Instagram, it's just at punk with the number 4 kids.
Okay.
And I have new music coming out. I'm just finalizing some stuff. One's a ska song, and I just finished the horns for that. I just got to pretty much go back and redo vocals on that. So the goal is early May that one comes out.
Nice.
And then June maybe for the other one, and then kind of go from there. But just kind of doing more singles like that at this point. Like I was holding off to do like an
Yeah.
EP, and I felt it was putting unnecessary pressure on me for this project. Like, wow, I got to get these 3 songs done before I can release anything.
Sure.
It's like this one's pretty much done. Why don't I just release this now that it's done rather than sit on it?
Right. Yeah. And then after you keep doing that, and then you get enough to build and throw it on some sort of collection or something like an
Yeah,
EP.
like it's different nowadays. Like
For sure.
Danny Go isn't really putting out albums or any of
Right.
those. They're just kind of one offs for sure.
Yeah. When you so when you say like you have to do horns for it, are you playing the horns, or do you have like bands,
No, so
friends
I
that
have a yeah. So everything I'd say 90 to 95% of it's just me. Like I do everything in GarageBand on my Mac that I'm using
nice.
to do this podcast. To horns, I have a. I'm good friends with the band teacher at our high school, so he played trumpet and trombone, and then my one student, he's played on a couple tracks, and he came up with the idea for the new song. So he does alto sax on that. I just literally do it in my classroom. Like I bring my setup,
It's
like
awesome.
this mic, I bring that and my little Focusrite box, and we just do it and comes out okay. Horns are hard though. Horns, that's like the one
Yeah.
instrument that I'm still like trying to figure out how to make it sound like it does on like regular albums. There's like I feel like I'm missing the pop they have, but yeah. So help mostly me, but I for certain stuff it's just easier to have other people do the parts.
Yeah, but that just shows like the sense of community that you're building still. Again, it started as something for your kid, and it's still something for your kid. That's the main focus, but it's still building connections with other people, and they're being able to be creative and create something as well, which is, I mean, this is what it's all about, man. Like
Yeah,
that's
no doubt. Like I started playing when I was like 14. I was in a ska band in high school, and like there was just some of the best playing live and recording was such good aspects of my life. So to have other people involved, it's been fun for sure. Like my one buddy that plays trumpet, like that's awesome. Like he has a kid that plays guitar, so I think at some of the shows coming up, I'll have him come up and play with us too. And it is fun to have other people involved for sure.
yeah, absolutely, man. That's awesome. Well, like how else can people, they can follow you on Instagram? They can reach out. Like, well, how do they get in
Yeah,
touch?
I'd say that's probably the big push is Instagram and TikTok now. Like, we talked about like building that online presence. I think that's kind of where I'm at, is trying to build that so people can follow me and then share content. That'd be awesome. Or just stream songs. Like that's super. Obviously, it's really just about the song. So that's cool too. If you could just share my music and
Yeah,
play it and share it with people and try to spread the word. It's slowly starting to build, super small still, like really like, small numbers, but I'm seeing more people following me, and my streams are up a little bit on the back end, which is kind of cool to see that. But
yeah.
that would be it. Follow, share, play my songs.
Yeah, I have a 3-year-old at home. He's almost 4, so we're gonna be spinning those tunes. And I you know
Nice.
I have 3 kids, and I'm always like, if I play enough punk around them, they'll love it. And it hasn't worked for the first 2. I've taken my daughter. I've taken her to see Joan Jett. She liked Joan Jett when she was 5. I
Okay.
was like, let's go see Joan Jett. So we saw Joan Jett. She saw Laura Jane Grace with me once in playing with Devouring Mothers, and that was fun. I took my middle. He's gone to the Menzingers with me. He's seen the Dirty Nil, and he's seen Social Distortion with me. And like, there's still maybe some hope, but like I need a concert buddy. So I got to get the
Yeah.
I gotta
And
get
it's
my
opposite. Like my kid loves it. Like
yeah.
he's so we do this thing in our house. It's called Drum Game. It's a new game. So pretty much he'll swing on. We have a swing in the basement for him, and he'll make
Nice.
me play drums on repeat. Like I have a like electronic kit. So he'll cycle. He's obsessed with Saba by Mephistopheles right now. Like I've played that song like 200 times in the past like 2 weeks. But it's weird. Like my kid loves it. Like I don't know if it's the energy and the high sensory. But
Mhm.
also the thing too, like I gotta watch what I play. Like I will call like it is a lot of punk songs and ska stuff isn't really appropriate for 4-year-olds in
Yeah.
terms of your content. So that's another reason why I kind of started this. Like, oh, this is like a quick little entryway into something that's that style, but a little bit more, you know, it's acceptable for kids to listen to. Keep
Yeah.
trying it, man. Keep cranking the songs for them. Just
Oh, I
play
will.
it on repeat.
Absolutely.
Eventually
Yeah.
they'll be like, they'll get into you. They'll be like, all right, fine. I do like this. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I could get my daughter to go see like Blink 182 with me. Like I've listened to that enough, and she digs some of their songs, so I think she'd come. But that, those shows are $8 million to go to versus
They
I
they
could see.
sure I saw Blink, what is it, like 2 years ago when Tom came back? It's like the most I ever paid for a concert. I was like, "How am I paying all this money to see Blink?" It was
Yeah,
crazy. It was like $150, I think, to see them. That was crazy.
right. Yeah, I would love to see. I saw them once in like 2009. I'd like to see them again, but I go to the smaller shows. I just saw like Teenage Bottle Rocket, the Dopamines, and Sam Russo in Green Bay for like $30. So I mean
Even
that
that's
was
like expensive now. Like when we grew up, I don't know how you all are, but like when I went to shows, it was like $5, $10. Like
yeah.
now it's even the local shows are a lot. It's kind of crazy how much it's changed.
I think the first time I went to Warp Tour, I was 14. I paid $20 for
And
the
that was
ticket
fine for the whole weekend, right?
the whole day. Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
yeah, yeah.
like from 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. of just an opportunity to see endless bands, and it's like holy buckets. Like now, yeah, it's a different world. Everything's going up, but as teachers, we know our salaries are not. Um,
They are not. You are correct. We're not like other people's go up. That's for
Right.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on, and I look forward to everything that you got going on. In the new music and all that kind of stuff. Anything else you wanna plug or you wanna promote?
No, it's just really that, if they thought I have a couple, like I said, of those two shows coming up. I don't know where people are located. They're both in Jersey. So if you're around, check those out. Really just listen to my music. And like, I mean, when it was kind of when we started, I appreciate you letting me talk. You know, this has turned into just even this little bit, it is bigger than it was ever imagined to be. So the fact that other people want to talk about it with me is pretty cool. It's pretty humbling. Um, Especially some of you, like when we kind of talked to do this, I was like you interviewed the singer like Big D and the Kids Table, like so to be on
Yeah.
a podcast where it's someone else like that I've looked up to that band, and like it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to say thanks. This means a lot that you let me come on and talk about my project for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It means a lot that you're doing it because, like you said, I appreciate what you do. I think it's
Thanks.
important. And I think you had a pretty cool story even on your Instagram about your kids and when they're picking groups and stuff like that. And that's something that really resonated with me. I was like, yeah, I see some similarities in that in today's world with kids, and a lot of kids get bad reps with older people. And it's just like, well, you don't necessarily know like how much more accepting majority of them are than what they were when I was in high school. And
Without a doubt,
yeah, it's
without a doubt.
amazing.
And I think that's something that I noticed. I mean, I don't know how long you've been working in a school, but I kind of noticed that at least in where I teach right away. Like I did notice that. And I was like, people are more accepting now than we ever were. And I think there's just more awareness around it. Like when I
Yeah,
was in high school, I had no idea what autism was. You
right.
never heard that word ever. So I think that, and those kids, sadly, and not right at all, were just like kind of shunned, and they were definitely picked on and by people that's obviously, hindsight looking back as an adult, the fact that no one stepped in to kind of fix that was kind of, it would never fly nowadays, right? Like, and yeah, they're all right. They're kind of a pain sometimes, but they
Yeah.
do get a bad rap. There are the good far outweigh the bad for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree.
No doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. Well, keep up the good work, man. And
Thanks. I appreciate it.
appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.